Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tech Talk Friday. But today is not Friday; it's Thursday. So here we have Tech Talk Thursday. First time ever, but there's always something new to try out, right? And of course, Tech Talk Friday. Tomorrow's Christmas, so we can't have it on a Christmas day. We have it today on a Thursday. And together with me is DNA's very own Karamjit Singh. Karam, welcome to Tech Talk Thursday. Do we call it Thursday today, or we just keep it a Tech Talk Friday, the Thursday edition?
Yeah, we'll call it Tech Talk Friday because we'll confuse people.
So we are Tech Talk Friday, the Thursday
We'll
edition.
confuse I'll get confused, so just stick to Tech Talk Friday.
All right, there you go. So with us today, we have a very interesting. I mean, it's Christmas Eve, so I think a lot of people are heading for dinners or back home or watching a movie or just taking a break. But Karam and I
When you say a lot of people, I was on the road just now. The federal highway was jammed heading to Shah Alam, and the LDP, the PJ portion was jammed. I was really surprised. So
are people all heading for? They might be going out and going for dinners and stuff like that. So things might be back to normal, but we'll see how that pans out. But I mean, let's talk about our guest today. We have Ben Lim with us, right, from Nexia. Talk us through who's Ben and his specialty.
So that's the thing, right? When you say who's Ben, I know quite a few of the entrepreneurs we get on the show. I've known them for a long time. Like last week with Dash, so I've covered Dash since like 2008. So, but with Ben, I've actually not covered him. And actually, just like during the pre-show thing, I was telling Ben, let's catch up for Teh Tarik next week, just to get to know him on a casual basis. Because I don't know Ben, I only know him professionally and through what he's doing. And what he's doing is very important. He's one of the co-founders of Nexia Angel, so NEXEA, and he formed this after finishing his MBA right away. So I thought he was a merchant banker or investment banker. He said he was not. So we'll find out what he's doing. But the reason why we also brought him on the show is because MDEC has just agreed to extend its partnership with them, to renew its partnership with them. And these guys, Nexia organizes a kind of I wouldn't call it accelerator, but a entrepreneur mentorship program, right? And I know, and the timing is good because I know last week or this week Monday, Roshan was all giddy and excited, like he had just been given the keys to the candy shop because he was picked as one of the 11 Malaysian startups that are part of a Microsoft program called Microsoft Z. So, okay. So he was all excited. Then I say, hey, I think this program that Nexia is doing, which is called EP, which is Entrepreneurs Program, is probably as good, if not better, than Microsoft's program. Right. So yeah, I just feel that maybe Roshan has joined the wrong program, but because he got excited by the brand word Microsoft, so Satya and Adela, maybe invest in my company. I don't know. So
let's bring Ben on and let's hear about his program, and maybe we need to be part of that program too. So Ben, welcome to the show, and super glad to have you with us. So tell us a bit about Nexia and what you guys do.
Yeah, nice to be here. Thanks, guys, and thanks, Karam, for that very nice way of introducing our program.
Yeah, you're better than Microsoft program. Damn right, man.
Thank you. So I founded Nexia about 5 years ago, 5 years plus, in 2015. Initially, we started as an angel investment network, which back then we were called Nexia Angels. Today, we prefer to be just called Nexia because we do have other offerings now. So for example, today or 6 months ago, we started something called the Entrepreneurs Program. It's a very important piece of the ecosystem that we always felt is missing because a lot of, if you are in the corporate world, a lot of CEOs would know programs like Young Presidents Organization, Entrepreneurs Organization, this stage, and so on. And all these programs benefit CEOs worldwide greatly, right? Worldwide right now, if I'm not mistaken, there are more than 50,000 or 70,000 CEOs in such a program.
Wow, I didn't know. That's insane, man.
But one thing about these programs is that the cost is pretty high, right? So in the Malaysian context, for example, right, the fees can be 2,000 ringgit to 25,000 ringgit per month, right?
Ooh, wow.
And exactly, so startups just cannot afford that. So what we did was we brought down the price tremendously to about 500 ringgit per month. Plus, we get great partners like MDEC to bring down that cost further, right? So that when startups are sponsored, those that really need the help can afford to join such a program.
Okay.
So this is what we're trying to bring to startups.
But your MDEC is sponsored 32 spots, right? In your cohort 2 of EP.
Yes.
That's a lot, man. That to me, that's validation that they like what you're doing, and more importantly, it's not you telling them it's a great program. I think they're hearing from the entrepreneurs that this is a great program, and that's why MDEC is in again, right? Because you cannot game this, right? You can convince somebody once before that it's a great plan, it's going to be fantastic, but the rubber hits the road when it starts, and you're starting your interactions with entrepreneurs, and they're learning or they're not learning, or they're getting scolded, and they're pivoting because of some hard truths you have to tell them. So.
Yeah, it is a lot of hard truths, and in fact, there will be more partnerships coming up. We did do another trial session last week, so we may announce that soon.
Nice.
So more startups will be supported, and I can share on the show here that internally we are intending to scale the program up to 1,000 startups for Malaysia.
Wow.
Yeah, it can be done. We do have the mentors. We do have the database of startups, and we really want to bring this to as many startups as we can. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's good. So before we go on, why did you launch this? You said right after your MBA, so that's kind of interesting. Was it you saw the opportunity in the market to be an angel investor, or what was the trigger?
Yeah, so I'm an entrepreneur by heart myself. So back then, we had lots of ideas. Some ideas are those that we invested in some startups in our portfolio right now. So we didn't have to start those companies.
Yes.
But one of the idea that caught our attention was the Angel Investment Network. Right. Back then, there were not many. I think you could count with one hand, right? Back then, 5 years ago, formal or informal, right? And so we decided that something like Angel Investment Network should be professionalized.
Oh, okay.
There should be management in place, because if you really think about it, no angel investor or group of angel investors are really going to take tracking seriously. They're not going to. They're not going to do very deep due diligence. They're not going to do a lot of the processes. That the discipline part that helps investments in the long term. And this is where management comes to place. So we do all the boring work, unfortunately for me, but our angel investors do all the exciting work of mentoring these startups.
Okay.
So not only do they invest, they really share their experience. And the angel investors are really experienced people. They are owners. They're on the board level. They have IPO. They have done M&A. So they are exactly the right people that should be mentoring technology startups today.
Yeah, on if somebody watching now goes to your website, they can see the list of angel of mentors, right?
Yes, they can on www.nexia.co.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So in terms of your first program, I see your numbers. You're saying that they recorded positive quarter and quarter numbers, revenue growth, headcount. I guess what and at a time like this, to say that you've got positive revenue growth and headcount, that was what made me sit up and take, hey, if they can do this in this last 7 months, So what is it different about this program? Because there are quite a few programs like this out there. BK runs one, right? You've got Scale Up Malaysia also, and I think the pitchIN co-founders also, they run WTF, right? Watchtower and Friends. So there are some options out there. So, and you said you launched this to your program also is like plugging a gap in the market. That means you feel that the existing program did not have that strong mentor guidance, is it? Because that's what I'm getting away from you now.
Actually, we don't really compare the entrepreneurs program to other accelerators. We have our own accelerator called the Nexia multi-corporate accelerator, which involves a lot of corporates like DG, Spritzer, Sunrise, and so on. But entrepreneurs program is a totally different program that focuses on group mentoring, guided by an experienced angel investor as the lead mentor there.
Okay.
Right. So what we actually do in the entrepreneurs program is we have structured processes where startups can have the forum to share their issues, with each other very openly, very transparent, and they share their biggest fears.
Oh,
right?
really? Yeah. Wow. Okay.
They do. And even last week, when we did our first trial with a fresh batch of entrepreneurs, straight away they were coming out with their largest fears in front of strangers.
Wow.
And yeah, that is part of the process. That's part of the formula of why this program is so important. It's because they need to be able to talk about their largest fears. They need to hear the hard truth from other entrepreneurs in the room, right? Plus, we have the angel investor or mentor to that has years of experience of being a startup of their own back in their time, to really guide and shape the route that these guys are taking, so that they can learn in a very efficient way from each other, and not just by making their own mistakes. They are learning from the mistakes of 10 to 15 other startups in the room.
Wow. If you manage to unlock that, that's fantastic. Now, these mentors could they be from your first cohort? Could they be potential investors, or your strict rules say they cannot invest? It must be all be selfless.
Yeah, they should be selfless in their room. They should be neutral. There should be no business done in their room. But of course, outside the room, they've already developed that relationship with that angel investor. They've developed relationships with all the other entrepreneurs in the room. Correct. So the power of networking as well is quite powerful here, because you get to know a bunch of angel investors. You get to know and do business with a lot of like-minded entrepreneurs. And the effect is actually quite powerful, because I'm actually part of a similar group called Vistage, right?
Vistage, of course, Richard,
Yeah, Richard, right? I'm actually under one of the mentors that is very close to Richard as well. But the point here is that, after being there for about a year or two now, I start to develop very strong relationships with all the other businessmen in the room.
Okay.
Right? So what I'm trying to do here is also translate and bring this to young technology startups, because they are the future of the economy. And if they have a strong network from day one, that's really going to help them grow like crazy as time passes by.
And then you mentioned you form strong relationship after 1 or 2 years, but you're fast tracking the process, right, for this, because this is a 5-month program, right? Your EP program, is it?
No, it's actually an indefinite program. They join every month. It can be for years. Yeah. So
there's no like graduation. You mean they stay on with the mentors forever? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, they stay on with the mentors. They build relationships with their peers, about 10 to 15 of them over some time, as long as they are with the program, of course. And this really creates a very deep bond between them.
Okay, so there's no graduation from the program. So there's no graduation from, as long as you're paying the monthly fee, right? You're in the program, right? That's what I'm getting at.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Are you able to share whether any of the startups from the first cohort? I use the word cohort, although it seems like it's not right because there's no ending period, right? Anyone raise money from any of the mentors, or can you share that?
So far, no, because the chances of that happening itself is slim. But we do have a lot of our portfolio companies in there.
Yes. Okay.
So about I think about 10, 15 of them are funded by Nexia.
Oh, okay.
And they are in the program. But because the program has only been running for 6 months,
6 months, yeah.
It's not fair for me to promise or to say that they get funded through such a program.
Yes.
We have other programs just for funding, but this program is just for the growth and
for the professional growth of the entrepreneur,
of the startups, yes, or the entrepreneurs.
Is it individual? If it's a two-man founding team, do you have any? Is it one person only, or two people can join, or maximum of 3 per company? Because
so each group we only allow one from each startup. Yeah. So if a startup wants to have their co-founders join, we will put them in the second or third group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which may not be too good lah, because somebody from the other group may complain about the other fella. He likes to dominate conversations, but then he doesn't know he has it from a back channel. That so any founders had a falling out with themselves because of your program or not?
No such thing.
Okay.
Although they are very transparent, whatever is said in that room is generally stays in that room, because they have to build that trust and respect with each other, and that doesn't leave the room.
Nice.
We have a couple of questions coming from guests. So Rev asked, can we get into conversation with Nexia's mentor without joining the program? Is that possible?
That is a question I get asked a lot. It's not easy for us to do that, because Nexia is a business itself. I guess you can find out who they are. You can approach them on LinkedIn or through other entrepreneurs. That one can be done. But
generally, your program, no lah.
Generally, If you're looking purely for mentoring, Entrepreneurs Program is the perfect program for that. If you're looking for funding, our angel investment or VC programs are good for that. It comes with mentoring as well, so it sort of depends what you're looking for.
So Dato Munira asks, is this program for IT startups only, or what about fast-growing established companies?
Wow, very good question. So recently we do face that sort of question because a lot of fast-growing startups are applying as well, right?
Oh, okay.
Generally, this entrepreneurs program is for technology startups, right? So that's our priority here. However, we do have applicants that are already starting to transform into a technology startup.
Okay.
So that we do allow on a case-by-case basis, because we want to be very careful to allow the right people in so that they can understand each other.
Nice. Okay. So Raf says, got it. Thank you. Simon asks a question. I think this one's a little bit more general. What are the largest fears entrepreneurs talk about when you do these programs?
Yeah. So without naming names, some entrepreneurs share the deepest fears about the co-founders leaving. Some fights among co-founders.
Of course.
Huge competitors coming in. Tech giants coming into their space.
Grab just now starting to deliver, gone into the grocery business, right? Food Grab Mart. So, and then I worry about the startups who are in this space, that's smaller, which is like your My Grocer, right, which was launched by a former journalist. So you really sweat bullets, man, when something like that happens. Almost feels unfair, right? Grab's got billions of dollars. Go and find a real a pain point to solve, not being another plane with grocery delivery. So I feel that's unfair, but business is unfair, right? Life is unfair. Roshan will tell me later. Apparently, I didn't know. I thought life was fair, but anyway. So, but okay, that's an understandable fear, Yeah. So, okay. Carry on. Sorry. Any other fears?
In fact, someone did process one of those problems in the group, and it was around one of Grab going into one of those areas. I won't say which area. And the interesting thing is that the entrepreneurs in the room came up with very interesting solutions to how they can go around that competition. Mentor as well guided the conversation beautifully. I just happened to be there that day. And yeah, that startup today has grown their sales a few times over.
Wow.
Of course, not just during the program. They've already known some of those solutions. The entrepreneurs in the room helped to solidify and confirm those solutions for them. So they've gone hard on those strategies, and they're doing well today.
Great. So I think Dato' Munirah follows up, and this may be related. What's the scope of the mentoring? To what stage? Ideation, commercialization, growth, scale. I mean, are these across the board, or and I mean, what kind of mentoring?
Yep. So when Nexia in particular talks about mentoring, we stay away from telling entrepreneurs what to do, right? So we stay away completely from operational advice. We don't tell you what to do or how to do it, because founders and the startups should know what to do on their own in that sense. However, what we can advise on is on the strategy level, on the high levels, right? That's where the mentor's expertise is, because a lot of our mentors are used to be CEOs. They used to be, or they are on the board level, so they have a lot of advice on that level. If the startup needs operational advice, we do have experts for that. So we don't call them mentors, we call them experts, because they advise specifically on finance, on operations, and so on.
Supply chain, okay. Digitalization.
That's right. So that's for the scope of mentoring. For the stages, at Nexia we do idea stage all the way to pre-A. We try not to do Series A and above. Although sometimes we do encroach VC territory there, we are increasing our size of investments. But yeah, we try to stick to up to pre-A. Ideation, yes. Commercializing to growth, yes. Scaling, yes. But we stop at pre-A sort of stage.
Okay.
During the break, I'm gonna get on the phone with Gopi and tell him that, hey, watch out, Ben's gonna be calling you for 1,000 sponsorships, man, not 36, because you're the scale till 1,000.
Yep. So we're gonna take a very short break right now. We're just gonna have a little ad from our sponsors, of course, Nicole, the learning app, the artificial intelligence learning app. So with that, let's Nicole along. All right, so with that, we have a very special for Christmas only for Christmas, 50 US for a year for Nicole. So 50 US for a year. Use the special promo CHRIST50 and you will get this special at this website, and I get our producer to push up the website in a little bit. So with that, go to the website, which is bouncebacksummit.org/NicoleGifts, and you'll be able to get that over there. Yes, bouncebacksummit.org/NicoleGifts, and you will be able to give this to your friends, to your family, and to everybody else. So with that, Karam, welcome back to Tech Talk, and we're speaking with Ben Lim from Nexia at this point in time. And Karam, just to synthesize our conversation, quick summary. What key takeaways you got from Ben a few minutes ago?
I mean, it's really actually when Ben was talking about this mentorship and the value, right? You're charging 500 a month, which is not a lot if you're getting a very good mentor. It just took me back a long time ago when I was talking to a former government-based BC, and she was very excited. She said, Karamjit, we've got all these senior executives who have agreed to give their time, but back then you don't call them startups, right? Technology companies, and they're gonna just help them with mentoring, because you need somebody to look up to or to hear advice from someone. Ordinarily, if Karamjit gives you the advice, you say go to hell. But suddenly it comes from Entrepreneur X, you say, oh my goodness, I didn't know that, man. It's so stupid of me, right? Suddenly the reaction changes. So you want that kind of but you need to get the right people. So it's great that Ben and Nexia saw this as a need, and they're addressing it, because I would have thought there was not a need like that. But it's great value, and thank you to MDAC, and this is our tax dollar at work, right? MDAC has like it, and they're coming in to further support the program some more, and the networks will get as they go on, the network will get stronger, right? As you form relationships. So it's really good, and this is just another small step that the ecosystem is taking to strengthen itself, right? And at first, when they launched this, Roshan, I thought, another program. There's so many, mentorship or entrepreneur programs, but clearly there's value in what they're doing, and the value is decided by their customers, right? The entrepreneurs are saying, we like this. This is a good program. So kudos to them, and keep it up, that's all I say, right? And become even better.
So I'm going to bring Ben back, because Ben, we've got a couple more questions that you need to take.
Question nice.
One. Another question.
This is good, we can just relax and just get to let the audience ask you.
Let me do all the work.
I think Dato Maria is very interested, so you got to go and meet up with her. Do you need to be an MSC status company to participate in this program?
No, definitely not. All you need to do is be a startup or a company that focuses on technology as the core of the business, and we will seriously consider for you to join. Yeah.
So we have a shot at it, man. Leronomics with Nicole. Right. I'm gonna and she says thank you for responding for the earlier question. Ben, I'm going to do a segment we always call Test the Guest. And this Test the Guest segment is where we give you a challenge, and if you cannot answer, then you call Karam, and Karam will come running. Panting away, and so Karam's not here because the first question, you got 5 questions, you must answer all 5. If you can't answer 1, it's okay, but if you cannot answer more than that, we kick you out of the show right away. So you'll be right. If you miss 2, you're out of the show. We dump you away. Right? So quick question number 1: why Karam's not here? What's your first impression, Karam? Don't worry, he's not here. We kick him out, right? So you can tell me first impression of Karam, even how bad and nasty it is.
My first impression of Karam is that when I first saw him was at an event, actually, right? And I knew about his work before I saw him in person, and I have to say, DNA is doing a lot of good work out there, reporting a lot of things, and I love it when Karam takes a jab at certain things that's happening in the ecosystem. I really respect that. But when I really saw Karam at the event for the first time, I was so amazed at how tall he is, and he looks pretty intelligent. Being
sometimes he's got an intelligent look, not definitely got an intelligent look,
Yeah, looks very intelligent. Yeah.
Very good. So Karam, does his answer pass your quality checks?
Oh, fail. It took too long. And then the intelligent look, you're lucky I don't wear my VR glasses to events. I will look like the next Einstein.
There you go. Okay, question 2. Name your most favorite tech company in Malaysia today. And don't say Grab.
I'm not going to say Grab.
Yeah, Singaporean company now.
Well, most of their workforce is still here.
Yeah.
You could argue that they're Malaysian still, right?
Yes,
but My most favorite tech company in Malaysia today, it's really hard for me to answer this, right? Because I have a few
after
high
you after.
performing companies in my portfolio.
Just say
And
digital, just say DNA lah. You know, if you say DNA, it's a safe answer. Okay, so
I think that's the only fair thing to say right now. I'll go with
I answered it. So you failed one question. So you're one out. So one more, you get kicked out of the show. So beware. Okay.
Sure.
So what is your Christmas wish this year? I think you can answer this, right?
Yeah, I can answer this. I really wish for the startup ecosystem, to be to improve a lot more, right? First of all, we are a small ecosystem. I know that I can see that there's a lot to improve on. I'm happy to have witnessed some pretty good changes in the ecosystem, but I really hope to see a lot more, and I really hope that we can beat our friendly neighbor in terms of being the tech ecosystem in the region.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's really a Christmas wish. I mean, you really wish that, or you didn't wish for like a present or something interesting for your own life.
He's got a picture of you, man. Good for you. Good for you.
It's amazing that
ecosystem of self.
Yeah.
So pass.
Okay. We'll let that pass, and we'll consider that 50%. So 51%. We'll give you a pass rate there. Okay, describe 2020 in one word, just one word, and the word cannot be Karamjit.
The word is interesting. Yeah.
That's 2 words. The world is interesting. So what's the word? Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, this one is the easiest question of all. What is your tech-related prediction for 2021? You have to get this right. If not, you're going to be
this one is a tough question, man.
I thought it's the easiest, sir.
I think definitely anything that is benefiting from COVID will definitely continue to thrive. So that is my prediction, that a lot of businesses that have been thriving because of COVID will continue to thrive, as the effects I think will stretch on for a while more. I hope not, but I have this strong feeling that it will. So I think 2021 will be a year for these tech companies that have been thriving because of COVID.
Nice. And Karam, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know you think a lot about the future and the maybe you think about next week, but I mean, generally next week is 2021 anyway. What are your thoughts?
You're asking me just.
I'm asking you,
people talk about the Great Reset. I think it is the Great Reset, and a bit overlaps with what he says. Right, the winners will continue to be the winners. So what strikes me is just the inherently unfair nature of the virus, because the virus now is widening the gap between the have and have nots, and between the white collar knowledge workers and the blue collar workers. Although nobody's going to call any of us essential workers, right? Blue collar workers are a lot of them, and of course the knowledge workers are the medical staff. But it's although they are blue collar, but I think the income gap you're going to see widen, and it just feels inherently unfair. But that's also the cold reality of the world, right? Life is not fair, although I like to believe it's fair. So and people need to somehow just get a layer of digital skills with them, right? Understand a bit of AI or whatever. It may be a little bit of technical, but if you want to have a career for the next 35 years, for those who've just started, you absolutely must do this. Unless you're so gifted, right? You can repair things, then you can do well. But that's just the thing that strikes me, And for companies also, if you're not digital, you are not. And one expert say, if your company is not digital, it is not resilient. And if you're not resilient, means slowly you're gonna just drop off off the picture.
Yeah, you will better off,
very, very brutal and tough times, unless you're digital.
Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break and go to Karam's stories for this week. We'll get you back in a second, but as we talk about the stories, listen in and we'll get your input in a second. So we'll catch up with you in a little bit, Ben. Karam, your tech stories for this week.
Yeah, we already spoke about the Nexia one. I'll do 4, right? So, one was, I mentioned it briefly, this is the Microsoft Emerge X program. So apparently it's a global program, and they've for Malaysia, they've picked 11 startups. And so I was excited when I saw the list of startups because you've got BetaCard, you've got Naluri, who's one of my Digitality 50, Setel, which is actually a Petronas spin-off, right? You've got Supply Card, which is something. Chew what?
Jonathan, I think, right?
Yeah, no. Supply Card. Sorry, I forgot the name. Never mind. You've got Supply Card. Then you've got Soft Solvers also. But then when I look at it, there was this one company's name I saw that really made me stop and say, hey, wait a minute. Is this really a credible program? Because they've got this company called Leaderonomics Digital. Now, I'm fortunate that I know a little bit background of the founder, so that I don't have enough time in the show to talk about my company. But I'm skeptical, so I asked Microsoft if the contract is not signed in black and white and not with drops of blood. I urge you to relook, this company, because your program could be affected.
That's why we've got cool apps like Nicola now. But that's an interesting program that Microsoft has.
So on another level now, you want to talk about? So I interviewed the Maxi CTIO.
Yes, that's right. Morton,
and actually, Morton is leaving. So we interviewed him before he left, and I ran the story today. And he's been the CTIO for 6 years. He joined as the CTO. Then they added the innovation to his portfolio, which is, I think, shows that they feel he knows how to connect the dots. You're not just a hardcore techie, right? Yeah. And so he's really built Maxis network to being the leader in the country. It was the leader before; it's the leader again. And what's interesting, I think, in the article, I used a picture of him. Actually, he wanted to prove to people that the network is very good. So they had the door to this cage. That is controlled remotely. It will go down if the website doesn't load, because he had on his phone the website, and the website is supposed to load in 8 seconds. If it doesn't load, the door will not close, steel door. And on the other end, a door open and there's a tiger, walking towards him, because he was going to be breakfast for the tiger. And I know people involved with that, and they say he was really relieved when the door finally closed. But he's that kind of guy. He was actually willing to, and he quoted himself, right? I mean, he's quoted saying that, I'm willing to bet my life on it that we have the fastest network and websites will load in 8 seconds on your mobile. So kudos to him. The article is very interesting also, Roshan, because we focus a lot on 5G. Now, while in Malaysia, 5G is coming in 2022, not next year, but he shared quite a bit of insight into how Maxis is approaching it. So it's a good article. Go and have a read.
And then so that's Maxis. You also have another telco.
Morton's one also is part of our telco deep dive. This is they had a press conference on Jendela. So the Jendela is this current government's initiative to show that they're trying to push forward Malaysia's digital economy and get broadband connectivity, mobile connectivity up faster, right? So and the good thing I like about this is that every 3 months there'll be a report card of how Jendela has done. So and then my colleague G covered it, and this is the story on it. So in terms of fiber connectivity, they've exceeded the target by 123%. In terms of installing new base station, they're right now they're currently short, but by December they're gonna just meet the target. And actually, if you look at the article, there's some nice visuals we've shown, right, of what they're looking at. And one of them is interesting. They talk also, Roshan, about the summer, the shortfall for some of the sites that because they missed the target at the moment of building towers, right? They actually give the reasons why the towers by each respective telco, why Celcom, why Digi, U Mobile, why the three of them could not meet their target. Maxis is not there because Maxis met its target. So kudos to Maxis again. So it's very interesting. Go and have a read. And also you want to mark articles like this because they got some good data points about where Malaysia's digital economy is from the infrastructure point, which you cannot overstate, right?
Nice.
And then finally, the last story, and this is because I want Ben to come and comment, is that we've got this. One of the things the new government is doing is to come up with a way to improve the ecosystem, and they think regulations is important. So you've got this national regulatory sandbox initiative, and actually the initiative now from just being a talk shop together with the Ministry of Transport and Malaysia Autonomous Vehicle Testing Route, they've actually identified 2 routes, right, in Cyberjaya that you can test for using autonomous vehicles. So if suddenly Leaderonomics raised too much money from SoftBank Ventures, and we're going to go into the self-driving car thing. You can test your software solution on a car in Cyberjaya. There are 2 routes there. So this is quite interesting. They've done it, and what I like also that during the press release was announced, and in the photograph, the new Secretary General of the Ministry of Transport also came, and he was in the picture. And I'm told he's getting quite involved with what's going on in the tech space also. So kudos to him.
Okay, one thing interesting that I wanted to check. We talked about. I mean, you mentioned the Series A that we are doing, but one of the things that's interesting is that the government announced, and this might be interesting for investors actually, because I got this info, and I've actually told my guys because people were pumping in money for our Series A, and one of the things we said is stop, or we're refunding it, because the government actually has an initiative starting January 1st. To tax deduct all up to 50,000 ringgit made investments into ECF platforms. It's completely tax deductible for January 1st, 2021 up to 2023. January 2023. So for 2 years, 2 years. Well, it's January 2023, so it's about 2 years. So for 2 years, it's tax deductible. All investments made. So I mean, we did an ECF with a funnel, which we've started. We went live about a couple of weeks ago. But we've been talking to our investors, and many of them say, "Yeah, I want a tax deductible."
Of course,
So we've extended it to January, and we've kind of reworking it. But I thought that was interesting. It was interesting because one thing happened last week is that they told they were doing a matching program, and they told the fund is finished. But interestingly, there's a response to say that okay, that's finished, but maybe we help the investor this time, not so much the company.
Actually no, there is Roshan. They also announced. But that fund is Ben. That fund is you put in if Roshan raises 4 ringgit, then you get 1 ringgit of tax.
Yeah, it's
25% lah.
Yeah, it's a 25% match, not a 50% match.
No, but then your investor gets full deduction. So they put in more money.
Up to 100,000. It's 100,000, but you get 50% deduction. So if you invest 100,000, you get 50,000 deduction.
Okay. But the cap is 100,000 lah. That means their cap is 50,000. Which is
your maximum tax deductible is 50,000, which is decent. Yeah.
It is good. No, look, these are some of the smart things the government is doing, where you can try to leverage, right, on a policy, right, to make sure the entrepreneurs get your investors, some of your angel investors maybe, right, Ben, are willing to put in more money because hey, I'm getting 50% off, so I can afford to take a bigger bet with Roshan.
So I mean, pitchIN is not here. I mean, Sam and Cash were supposed to be here, but one of the things they were telling us is that like eValcs and some of the things that are live went live in December. They've encouraged people to extend it to January, February, so that the investors can. So there's opportunity lah, whether it's our Series A or eValcs.
Kudos to the current Malaysian government. Hopefully, the incoming Malaysian government is listening to them and learning from them. Okay, whenever that happens,
we have no idea which government will be each month, so depending on the month of the year, we'll see which government is in. So anyway,
entrepreneurs keep running ahead, and look north, positive, and keep running, forward.
So Ben, as you heard all these stories and you heard us banter and talk our nonsense as we do, what sort of thoughts percolate in your mind as you see this?
Roshan, there's one more question by Dato' Munira. Can you pull it up?
She just making a comment about the ECF funds is now 1 to 4. But I think the personal tax exemption for ECF is something very good. It gives confidence. Comments, I think. But I found out like a few days ago, and I've been texting because we started. So I've been texting my investors and saying, hey, by the way, I know you pumped in the money, but I want to be upfront with you and say if you really want the tax deduction, we'll work out. Because it doesn't make sense to take the money in 2020 and then 1 week later, literally, you get these big deductions that
you have a very angry investor. You will have a very angry investor.
And I don't want to start live. Especially my Series A is my first funding, right? To start live in this way. But anyway, that's a comment from Dato' Munira who shares. Final thought, Ben. We always say we want to keep this show to about 40 minutes, but it never happens. But anyway, we love to hear your final thoughts. We have a slightly different color in the room today. We had Dash last week, so it was very Indian. So Ben, your thoughts on what we talked about today and any other things you want to share?
I think on the tax incentive, I'll start with that. The angel investors have had a tax incentive for quite a while as well. So it's good that I see that sort of transferred to ECF as well. So this will encourage more investors. Yeah. Although the angel investor one is a larger amount, but the ECF one is a good start. Because
the angel amount is also to encourage foreign investors, right?
No,
if I'm
local also.
Local also.
Mostly local.
Look at ATIF, the Angel Tax Investment Incentive. Yeah, it's ATI.
What's that? I mean, how does it work?
Okay, Ben, do you know?
Maybe Karam, you should.
No, there is an amount. I forgot whether it's how many 100,000. But once you have it, but you're going to register with Ministry of Finance. I think you got to register first, and then you can get a personal income tax deduction for a 2-year period or something. So that's very good.
So it's very similar. If I'm not wrong, it's up to 500K.
That's high, yeah. Okay, yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But it's actually with Malaysian Business Angel Network.
Yeah, I remember that.
Register with them last year.
Yeah, and Ben, I remember there was something announced a couple of months ago, or year, maybe
this was years ago. But you should be aware of this, Roshan.
Yeah. I remember this. This was the previous government, actually. Okay.
Previous government, Barisan National Time. Yeah, it's like pre-20.
We have no idea. We'll take what we get, So with that, Ben, your final thoughts. Any other things you want to talk about before we get the beard? I mean, Karam to close out. Yes, and Dato Munira reinforces. And Ben. Come on, get it right, guys. Bunch of tech guys don't even know shit. Okay, come. All right, thank you, Dato Munira. Any final thoughts before I pass the time to Karam?
That's right, and Ben. But the other thought I had was, it's good that the government looks at opening up certain regulations for startups, because in the past there were too many times where a startup could not take off because an investor wants to see that the startup gets approval by government first, because it's something that it's sort of restricted by law, but the government will take some time to do that, right? And by that time, that startup doesn't take off. They will have had to shut down. So it's good that these regulations are opened up, but I really hope to see even more, because there's so many startups and they're in so many industries. But yeah, that is my thought on opening up regulations.
Okay, and Karam, your final thoughts for today as we close out the.
I think we will. One of these shows we'll get Mahathir in. So he's the CEO for Futurize, which is responsible for the National Technology Innovation Center.
Not Mahathir, our former Prime Minister, lah.
No, not the 204-year-old guy. No. Right.
No, you want to go on MSc and that vision and.
No. So anyway, my final thoughts is good. I mean, I'm glad Nexia is doing what it's doing. It's added, and you heard already, right? They've got a corporate accelerator program, which I think is very important, because you want customers. And your Microsoft program, the thing that I find interesting, Roshan, is they say they'll connect you with their corporate customers also. Yes, so hopefully that comes true, right? That's priceless, to get the door in to engage with a customer. Corporate play, fantastic. So good job next year, right? Whatever you all are doing, what you are doing is helping to strengthen the ecosystem, Ben, right? You and your co-investors in Nexia. So fantastic. Keep it up, and never be satisfied, right? Keep building, keep getting better, and keep demanding from the ecosystem players also to do better, right? So that would be for all the ecosystem players. Never settle, never be happy. Keep pushing and getting more, because we have the capacity to do more, right? We are Malaysians. We are incredibly talented people.
Okay. So with that, I am going to wish everyone a very, very blessed Christmas and have a great holiday and had a wonderful weekend. We will. I'm not sure whether we're around next week around for Tech Talk, but it's New Year's.
Next week is Thursday. Next week is Thursday.
Today's Thursday, so it's Tech Talk Thursday. Our Tech Talk's Friday on Thursday.
Friday is January 1st.
So with that, enjoy your 30%. Use the promo code Christ50. Get Nicole. Get all these cool stuff. Support our local ecosystem. And once again, thank you for watching Tech Talk Friday, the Christmas edition on Thursday. And we'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. for Tech Talk Friday on Thursday, the New Year's edition. We will count down December 31st. We will count down the new year for you as we hit 2021, and we hope for a wonderful new year. With that, Karamjit, thank you so much. Ben Lim, thank you for your presence. Have a fantastic Christmas, and we'll see you on the 31st as we count down 2020 and reflect on 2020 and reflect on what has happened in 2020 and how we can plan for a fabulous 2021. Goodbye, everyone. This is Tech Talk Friday on Thursday, the Christmas edition.